When you hear hygiene and history, you might picture medieval Europeans bathing once a year or 19th century doctors operating without washing their hands. But what about Native Americans? Were they as unclean as early European settlers claimed? The truth might surprise you. Long before soap factories and modern plumbing, many indigenous tribes had advanced hygiene practices that put European newcomers to shame. From herbal mouthwashes to sweat lodges and daily bathing rituals, Native Americans deeply understood cleanliness. So much so that some settlers found their habits downright shocking. Here are some shocking and controversial facts that will change everything you thought you knew about Native Americans. Let's begin. When we take a bath or shower today, we mostly do it to stay clean. But for many Native American tribes, bathing was about much more than just washing away dirt. It was a daily practice, a way to connect with nature, and even a spiritual ritual. Unlike their European counterparts who often avoided full-body bathing for fear of disease, Native Americans embraced it as a routine. Many tribes bathed in natural water sources such as rivers, lakes, and streams. These water sources were not just places to cleanse the body, but also served as sacred spaces where individuals could refresh their minds and spirits. According to historical accounts, some tribes even bathed multiple times a day. The Wampanoag, for instance, were known for their frequent bathing habits. When the Pilgrims arrived in Plymouth in the early 1600s, they were surprised that the Native Americans were far cleaner than they were. It is said that Squanto, a member of the Wampanoag tribe, was baffled by the Europeans' reluctance to bathe and attempted to encourage them to adopt daily washing. For many Native American tribes, bathing was about physical cleanliness and purifying the spirit. Water was believed to have sacred healing properties, and immersing oneself in it was a way to restore balance and harmony. One well-documented example is the Cherokee practice of going to water. This ritual involved bathing in a running stream at key moments, such as at the start of a new moon, before ceremonies like the green corn dance, and after experiencing a bad dream or illness. The spiritual aspect of bathing was so deeply ingrained that some tribes continued the practice even in extreme conditions. It is recorded that some natives broke through ice in the winter to bathe, believing the cold water had a cleansing and strengthening effect. While many indigenous bathing traditions have faded over time due to colonization and modernization, some Native American communities still honor these practices today. Sweat lodges, for instance, remain a key part of purification rituals in many tribes. These steam-filled structures serve as places for physical and spiritual cleansing, much like the river bathing ceremonies of the past. Additionally, there has been a resurgence of interest in traditional Native American healing practices, including using water for purification. As modern science increasingly recognizes the health benefits of hydrotherapy and cold water immersion, it seems that Native American wisdom was far ahead of its time. One of the most well-known natural soaps used by Native Americans came from the yucca plant, also called soapweed. The roots of the yucca contain natural saponins, which create a lather when mixed with water. Different tribes across North America used yucca root as a shampoo, body wash, and even laundry detergent. The process was simple yet effective. The roots or leaves were pounded into a pulp, mixed with water, and rubbed onto the skin or hair. Not only did this produce a foamy lather, but it also had antibacterial properties that helped prevent infections and scalp issues. Yucca was especially popular in the Southwest, where the plant was abundant. Tribes, such as the Apache and Navajo, relied on it for personal hygiene and washing textiles and animal hides. Herbs like sage and cedar were also widely used for their cleansing properties. Sage, in particular, was believed to have strong antibacterial and antifungal qualities. Many tribes used sage to wash wounds, cleanse the skin, and even purify the air. Cedar, another powerful plant, was often boiled to create an antiseptic wash. Some tribes bathed in cedar-infused water for spiritual and physical purification. These herbs were used for personal hygiene and smudging rituals, where burning sage or cedar cleansed a space of negative energy. This blending of physical and spiritual cleanliness was a key part of Native American hygiene practices. Before modern exfoliating scrubs, Native Americans used natural substances like clay and ash to cleanse and soften their skin. Clay, particularly from riverbeds, was rich in minerals and had natural detoxifying properties. It was often applied as a mask, drawing out impurities and leaving the skin refreshed. Today, this method is still popular in the form of bentonite clay masks, proving that indigenous knowledge was ahead of its time. Ash, especially wood ash, was another common cleaning agent. Mixed with water, it created an alkaline solution similar to lye, which could break down grease and dirt. Some tribes used ash mixed with animal fat to create an early form of soap for personal washing, cleaning tools, and cooking utensils. Long before commercial toilet paper was invented, Native American tribes used various natural resources for hygiene. One of the most common tools was the dried corn cob. After the corn was eaten, the leftover cob was repurposed as a cleaning tool. It was firm yet slightly textured, making it an efficient way to clean up. Interestingly, early European settlers also adopted this method after learning about it from Native Americans. In regions where corn was not abundant, smooth stones were often used. These were carefully selected for their rounded edges to prevent discomfort. After use, they were either cleaned and reused or discarded. This practice was common in areas with plenty of rivers or lakes, where water could be used for washing the stones. Leaves were another widespread alternative. Native Americans had extensive knowledge of their local plant life and carefully chose non-toxic soft leaves for hygiene purposes. Certain plants, like mullein, had large velvety leaves that were particularly effective. However, using the wrong leaf type could lead to irritation, making plant knowledge an important survival skill. Beyond personal hygiene, Native American tribes were also conscious of where waste was disposed of. Many tribes had designated waste areas, often located a short distance from their main living spaces. This helped prevent contamination of drinking water and food supplies. Some tribes even used natural barriers, such as digging small pits to bury waste, which helped reduce odors and deter scavengers. One of the biggest advantages of these traditional toilet practices was their sustainability. Unlike modern toilet paper, which contributes to deforestation and pollution, these methods rely entirely on biodegradable materials. A dried corn cob, a smooth stone, or a handful of leaves would naturally break down over time, leaving no lasting environmental impact. In contrast, the production of toilet paper today requires millions of trees to be cut down each year. Water and energy are used in large quantities to manufacture, transport, and package these products. Native American hygiene practices, though simple, were environmentally friendly and highly effective. Either long before the invention of toothbrushes, Native Americans found a clever way to clean their teeth, chewing on twigs from specific trees. The fibers in certain types of wood, like those from the dogwood or sweet gum tree, acted as a natural brush. When chewed, the ends of the twigs frayed into soft bristles, which could scrub teeth and gums effectively. This was essentially an early form of the modern toothbrush, Even today, in parts of the world, people still chew twigs as an alternative to commercial toothbrushes. Some of these twigs contain natural antibacterial properties, meaning they clean teeth and fight off harmful bacteria. Instead of toothpaste filled with artificial flavors and chemicals, Native Americans relied on nature's cleaning agents. One of the most common methods was using charcoal. Crushed charcoal powder was rubbed onto the teeth, acting as a natural abrasive to remove plaque and stains. Interestingly, modern charcoal toothpaste has returned, proving that ancient wisdom was ahead of its time. In addition to charcoal, crushed herbs and clay were used to scrub teeth and freshen breath. Certain herbs, such as sage and mint, had antibacterial properties and helped prevent infections. Some tribes chewed on pine needles or used ash from burnt wood to keep their mouths clean and fresh. One of the biggest reasons Native Americans had healthier teeth than many people today was their diet. They ate natural, unprocessed foods with very little sugar. Modern diets, full of refined sugars and processed foods, create the perfect environment for cavities. Sugar feeds bacteria in the mouth, leading to plaque buildup and tooth decay. Native American diets, on the other hand, consisted mainly of lean meats, fish, nuts, seeds, vegetables, and fruits. Foods like corn, beans, and squash, often called the Three Sisters, were staples in many tribes. Since they couldn't access large amounts of processed sugar, their teeth were much stronger and healthier. In contrast, when European settlers introduced refined sugar and flour to indigenous diets, dental health declined rapidly. Many Native Americans who once had strong cavity-free teeth suddenly developed decay and gum disease after adopting a more Western-style diet. When people think about early medicine, they often imagine outdated or ineffective treatments. However, Native Americans developed smart and practical medical hygiene practices long before modern medicine existed. They created early syringes using bird bones and animal bladders, made healing salves from plants, and used steam baths and herbal teas to fight illness. These methods weren't just effective. They were often more advanced than the medical practices of European settlers at the time. One of the most surprising inventions was the early syringe. Long before hypodermic needles, some Native American tribes used hollow bird bones attached to animal bladders to deliver medicine. They would fill the bladder with herbal liquids or clean water and gently squeeze it to flush out wounds or apply medicine directly. This method helped treat infections and pain in a controlled way. Compared to European medical practices, like bloodletting, which often made people worse, this was a much safer and more effective way to care for injuries. In addition to medical tools, Native Americans relied on natural healing salves to treat wounds and care for the skin. They used willow bark, a natural pain reliever similar to aspirin, to reduce swelling and pain. Aloe vera was applied to burns to help them heal faster, while yarrow worked as an antiseptic to clean wounds and stop bleeding. Some tribes even used pine resin to seal wounds and protect them from bacteria. These salves were mixed with animal fat or plant-based oils to help them stick to the skin and stay effective for longer. Many of these ingredients are still used in medicine and skincare today. Another key part of Native American healing was using steam baths and herbal teas. Many tribes built sweat lodges, small heated structures similar to modern saunas. Inside, they would pour water over hot stones to create steam, which helped open the pores, flush out toxins, and improve circulation. Steam baths were often used to treat colds, fevers, and muscle pain. To make them even more powerful, Tribes sometimes added healing herbs like sage, cedar, or juniper to the hot stones, allowing the steam to carry the herb's natural medicine. Herbal teas were another essential part of Native American medicine. They used echinacea to strengthen the immune system, peppermint to ease headaches and digestion problems, chamomile to promote relaxation, and ginger root to relieve nausea. Many herbal remedies are still widely used today because of their proven benefits. Long before modern shampoos and conditioners, Native Americans relied on nature to keep their hair strong and healthy. They used plant-based rinses and natural oils, many of which contained antibacterial and moisturizing properties. For example, some tribes used yucca root as a natural shampoo. When crushed and mixed with water, yucca produced a foamy lather that cleansed the hair and scalp. This plant effectively removed dirt and oils and helped prevent dandruff and scalp infections. In addition to yucca, other plants like sage, sweetgrass, and cedar were commonly used for hair rinses. These herbs had cleansing and conditioning effects, leaving the hair soft and shiny. Some tribes also applied aloe vera or bear fat to protect their hair from harsh weather conditions. These natural treatments kept hair hydrated, making it less prone to breakage and split ends. While many Native American men and women wore long hair, they also had creative ways to style it. Some tribes used bear grease or other animal fats to condition and style their hair. This practice worked much like modern pomades or hair gels. It kept hair smooth, added shine, and helped create elaborate braids or sleek styles. Sometimes clay was used to stiffen hair or create specific looks. Warriors, for example, sometimes applied clay or natural dyes to their hair to make bold statements in battle or ceremonies. This technique was especially common among tribes in the Great Plains. Unlike today's sticky, artificial hair products, these natural styling methods nourish the hair while providing hold and texture. One of the biggest differences between Native American and European hair care was the frequency of washing. Many Native American tribes washed their hair regularly, sometimes even daily, if water sources were available. Cleanliness was a practical necessity and a cultural and spiritual practice. Some tribes believed washing away dirt and oils helped balance the body and the natural world. In contrast, Europeans rarely washed their hair during the same historical periods. Many believed that frequent washing could lead to illness. Instead of bathing, they used powders of starch or scented oils to absorb excess oils and mask odors. Wigs became popular among the European elite, especially in the 17th and 18th centuries, as a way to cover unwashed hair. These wigs were often made from horse or human hair and required heavy powders to maintain their appearance. While European nobility saw wigs as a sign of status, Native Americans likely found the practice strange since they were accustomed to natural, well-maintained hair. Ultimately, the real surprise isn't how Native Americans kept clean. It's how better their hygiene was than that of the Europeans of their time. While settlers avoided baths and covered up bad smells with perfume, many native tribes bathed daily, used natural remedies to fight germs, and even had ways to keep their teeth healthy. So who had the uncivilized habits? Maybe history needs some cleaning up, just like those early colonists did. And with that, we wrap up today's episode. We hope you enjoyed this video. Which story surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for joining us once again. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Native American history, remember to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you will be the first to see our new updates. See you in our next video.